This is completely on-premises one. Okay, this is a completely on-premises both the one. This is the infrastructure as service. So, as same as physical server, how we are going to maintain, and virtual servers and how we are going to maintain a SQL application. The same thing we are going to maintain. Except here is you can able to automate the things. You can able to do backup performance operation, liquid server, cross database queries, everything. You can able to do. In addition that you can able to access your database application, even public ID as well. Okay, so that is a one thing. And the cost perspective, when you comparing to infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, it's different. Okay, so it is it is in a cost effective manner. Okay, so you are maintaining in your workloads to the cloud end. Okay, so now when you go for the platform as a service, we have two approaches. One is for the platform as a service, Azure SQL database, okay, virtual machine, virtualized databases, and software as a service. The platform as a service, we have two options again. Okay, so that would be a singleton database and pool database we have. Okay, that we are going to discuss today. Okay, so let me. If you can go and see here, okay, so this is my platform as a service database. Okay, this is a logical server is available, but there is no virtualized server. There is no physical server backend, but still you can able to run your databases. Okay, so we have a singleton database. Okay, so database is the scope to deployment option with this periodic in workloads performance. This is the best for an application access guidelines for the database level. Only those who are running a single database, which we can able to run small kind of environment, and okay, you can good to go for this one. Okay, so but here is one limitation is there. You cannot able to do linked server kind of thing, as well as cross database queries. Okay, but you could able to do okay linked server concept by on-prem server. We could able to do this linked server, but in a singleton database pass end, we have to make this an automation job sticks, so that you can able to connect, you can able to do in your workloads as well. And elastic pool kind of thing. Okay, so that we are going to discuss this just 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, it is in a shared resources. Let's say shared resources thing. uh, So the difference of the singleton and pool database is, okay, see, this is my cloud, and we are in a scope of discussing database like singleton database and pool database. So this pool database is what it is going to run. Let's see here. This is my singleton database. Okay, so what it will happen? Okay, the CPU memory and DTU units are dedicated this particular database. Okay, so whereas the CPU memory and DTU units, right, it is going to share among this database. We'll see in a demo part. It will get in a clarity on that. Okay, so let's say out of these four databases, okay, pool database. Okay, this is pool database. It is nothing but pooled is nothing. The resources which is going to allocate at this database, it is going to share among these databases. Okay, let's say 10 CPUs. Okay, so 100 GB RAM. So how it is going to share? So based upon their workload, let's say this is an ideally this is the database is available. This 10 CPUs and 100 GB RAM is going to share this based upon workload. Okay, currently the load is 20%. Next 5 to 10 hours that is a 100% load. But all the what are the ideal databases there, that resource is going to use this one. Okay, so based upon load of the particular region, particular databases. So here is it is coming for common for this all database, the price is going to reduce comparing to singleton. But whatever the database is going to allocated here, that CPU memory DTV is dedicated for this one, whether the database running, let's say the business hours is or 10 to 5 o'clock. So after that, the database is not going to that much of resources not required, but still they're going to charge as same as whether it is the load is available or not. They're not bothering. They're going to charge per minute billing, right? So here it is not like that. So let's say this 10 GB and 100 GB 10 GB, 10 CPUs, 100 GB RAM is going to allocate it this one. So based upon this is running like 9 to 10, and this is running 11 to 11 to 5, and this is running 5 to 9. So like that is if they're going to run okay parallelly, like this these two databases only running okay 9 to 5. Okay, like that time okay, so these two tables is only going to use that particular resources, the rest of the database is identical ideally, so that the resources effectively is going to use and performance is also good here. Okay, so that's what the typically this PaaS environment database is going to run. Okay, so apart from that we have a managed instance. This is very important guys. So but in order to create this one we required pay as you go model subscription, but still I'm going to show you guys how to create and what is the things, how it is going to look like. Why? Because I have an other subscription that is in a pay as you go model. Okay, so I'm supporting other client. Okay, so I'll show that one. Okay, now we are jump into the singleton database. We'll discuss today. Okay. Yeah, this is my enterprise level portal, right? So what we are going to do, see here, this is databases. If you go and click, you can directly go and create, or else you can go and create the resources where you can able to identify that creating of this PaaS data. So here is my the SQL databases. Okay, so let's say and click on this database, and it is going to navigate. You can able to explore yourself to show what the past database, what singleton database. You can able to go and read and more explore yourself more. Okay, so here is creating a single database to start. Okay, so it is in a step by step manner everything. Okay, how to use the services, how we are going to put this information, everything they are going to do. Okay, so you can able to practice this one, and directly the link is available into um, the portal itself. Okay, that you have to keep in your mind. Okay, so once you are launched your database, okay, so you could able to identify that one, and they can step by step you can able to follow. Okay, so there is nothing special over there. Okay, this time click on databases. Okay, so once this click on database, the new blade is going to launch. Now we can see this, the basic information if we are going to do this. No, here is my free trial subscription. No other free trial. Under this tenant ID, you could able to maintain multiple subscription, guys. Okay, so let's say here is my resource. There is no resource group at all. Why? Because we deleted all these resource groups. Okay, let's try to create it by on fly. Okay, so what I want to tell you in resource group. Okay, so let's say the resource group of data center location wise are client name, whatever you can able to do. Okay, so uh, let's say this is an application ITSM. Okay, so I'm going to use the ITSM resource group. Okay, so under this client, okay, so we can able to deploy our workloads. So provide your name, database name. Okay, let's say my database is test DB. Uh, Test SQL DB. Okay, so see here, I did not go. I don't have any kind of servers, either VM server or physical server, but I could able to deploy this my database in a logical server instance. See here, let's select an existing server and create a new server. The connection string or credential will be based on the server only. Okay, so let's say I don't have any server, but let me create at this point of time. Then after that, we can able to use the same server. Okay, this is logical server. This is very important. Now this database we are going to deploy under this logical server instance. Okay, so once the instance is available, you can able to deploy multiple database. Let me show that one as well. Next, you know, 5 to 10 minutes. Just click on create a database server logical instance. If it is in drop down list, if it is already is there, you can able to take. Or else we have to create a new logical server. Let's say if you guys is remember on premises and when you are going to create any cluster kind of environment, let's say, so what we will do in a Windows cluster or SQL always on availability, what we will do typically, this is my pass node 1, node 2, active and active 2, right? So typically they'll configure Windows failover cluster first of all. Okay, so and then once I enable the Windows failover cluster, SQL always on availability is going to enable. Okay, so once the both side is enabled, you can good to go create a availability group, and the availability database is going to join. And the most important thing is, okay, most important is a listener name. Okay, what we are going to take the listener name? Listener name it is going to do. During the creation of listener, it is going to ask you the listener name or IPS, right? Listener name and IPS. So if it is a multi-site cluster, you are going to take this, only single IP, or else if within the data center, okay, single IP. Multi-site cluster, you would have to update both the sites IPs. So on top of this SQL AC, what it will happen the logical instance name. So let's say ITSM application, ITSM application, SQL AG. Okay, SQL availability group. So this is the one common thing. Okay, so it's going to work for the application users. They're not going to connect anything. Here is the listener is going to connect them. They're going to connect only listener, right? So this is pretty much might be you are an expertise more than me in this case. Okay, so honestly, so now the applications is connecting listener only, right? Availability listener only. Okay, so you can call it as AZL. I'm sorry, AZ. It is not AZ. It is an AZL. Okay. So, so this is the logical IP, like IPs and name is going to connect and it is going to go. As same as it is under this pass instance creation. What is going to happen? Uh, Now we are going to create this is a kind of logical instance. You can able to deploy multiple data. So what I'm going to do, test SQL SRV, test SQL SRV. So this is my SQL server. Yeah, name is it is used already. So the name is always it should be unique. Okay. So Server name, I could able to test ITSM SQL SRV. Okay. Uh, yeah, it is mute. It is accepting now, right? So this is my server name, and the under this servers we are going to deploy this, PaaS test, right? Now what I'm going to do here is my IPS SQL admin, okay, and then confirm the password. Here is my SQL admin, okay, and here is my password. Now where I'm going to deploy it in the Australia center is there. So always I'm going to recommend you guys, nearest of the data center. Okay. So this feasibility, our South India Asia Pacific region is not available for this subscription. Okay. So let's say I'll go and I'll deploy East US. Now it is going to accept it. So think about it before going to deploy whether the service is going to available or not on that particular data center. You have to make sure. Just click on OK. Now how many tabs is done? Only this basic information. What we have provided, simple thing is database name, logical server instance name. Now if you have to see here, want to use the SQL Elastic pool. Okay, so at this point of time, I'm not going to create. I'll go and I'll create in a new Elastic pool. Okay, let it be without a Elastic pool. Okay, if I'm going to, yes, it is going to ask you whether the pool is available or not. I'll go and I'll discuss now. You know, dedicated one. If it is not, if it is no option, it is going to dedicatedly assigning DT units. DT is known as a combination of compute and storage options. Okay, so to run this logical instance, it is required, right? Compute and storage drives is required. OS is required. It is in a physically residing in a Azure data center, but logically we are going to see only this name. Okay, now next phase is it is networking. Just go to networking part. If you can see here, this is networking part. Let's say if we have an own customized network is there, so it is going to ask you. You guys is very familiar how to create the networking part and how we are going to connect. Okay, so let's say if it is having the uh, add additional settings of these things, and if you're having this private endpoints, like if I wish to connect only this database instance to particular environment, you can able to create this here. Okay, endpoints is nothing but it is in a service. Okay, so what service you can able to connect SQL server and only this endpoint's name. Okay, so let it keep aside. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you guys, this is all about SQL server endpoint, and if you have the networking, you could go to go and create it. That's it. Okay, so other than that, it is nothing. There is no other. And public endpoint is nothing but if you wish to connect this one, via internet, you would have to go this option. Okay, so no access in the sense you cannot able to connect. At this point of time, I'll make it as in a no access. Okay, so and I'll try to connect this one after getting the error. Okay, so the more errors you're getting, you are in a perfect. Okay, I'll create another one next 5 to 10 minutes with the public endpoints and all. Okay, so let me see this. There is no access. I have kept it. Yeah. So now click on backup. So there is the additional settings. You could able to find the database source. You could able to use this, none. I'm going to say that the empty database is going to create. If you have backup, where is that backup? See, the backup concept we have dedicatedly have one module we're going to discuss. But simple thing is, if you are already having some backups into the cloud storage end, then you can able to then you can able to create here. Okay, then you can able to restore here. Or else sample data. Sample database is nothing but our adventure work database. Okay, so at this point of time, I'm keeping as none database. Okay, so you can able to create adventure web database as well. Let's say let me keep it as an a sample database adventure work. We'll see this whether the tables and all reflecting or not. Okay, so now here is enable advanced security, so it is not required. So and if you are going to take this advanced security, it is a one more function kind of thing. Okay, so let's keep it aside. And the important factor is, if you can say this, SQL, collision settings thing. Okay, it is defaultly coming. Okay, some of the reasons you can able to choose in a customized, customized collision settings as well. Okay, so that we have feasibility here. Earlier it is not there. Tags you guys is very familiar. So it's your environment, date, whatever it can able to do, and review and click on create. So what it is going to recommending, it is going to validate and it is going to create, right? So let me click on basic things and just click review and create. So what are the input parameters we have provided? What are the input parameters we have provided? Okay, so you can able to see here the free trial subscription, the resource group, is TVS, test SQL DB. This is logical SQL Server instance. The compute and storage is dedicatedly for this database only, not shared. So allow Azure services resource to access the server. So service endpoint none. Why? Because we haven't configured any service endpoints. At setting the collision setting, everything is done. This is matter of minutes, only 1 minute. Okay, so while I'm explaining that it is taking 5 10 minutes, but if you can go and click on create in anything, it is going to take only 1 or 2 minutes. Just click create. Okay, so it is going to deploy, it is going to validate whatever the input parameters we have provided, that is going to validate, and then it is going to creating and deploying these resources. Let it deploy. Once the deployment is done, I'm going to connect to my local server, local on-premises server. Once I'm going to connect and see this database, we have to explore this all options. Okay, let it deploy. So hopefully it is going to take 1 or 2 minutes, not more than that. By the time, if you guys have any questions, please let me know, guys. We'll discuss. Satya, Sharath, and Kishore, Karthik.
No, I'm good, sir.
One more person is not joined. Yeah, if you can guys see the deployment is completed. Your deployment is complete. Okay, just click on go to resource. Okay, so what it is going to happen? It is going to created your logical instances as well as a database. See, this is my test SQL DB. Okay, let's see this adventure database is deployed or not. So if you can see here the server over here, and you can if you can check here, you can able to whether you are connecting or not, we'll see. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, okay, so we'll go and we'll try to connect this one, and tomorrow we're going to explore this all options. Okay, so what are the options is available, and what are the high availability is configured or not. You can able to find this one. Okay, let me let me see this first of all. Okay, so and I'll try to go and click on this database server also. You can able to find. Let me click on resource view first of all. So I would have to see this both the ways. Uh, So this is my resource group. Under the resource group, we have two options. See here, this is my logical server and this is my database, right? So both is available. So what I'm going to do, I'll go and click on this SQL survey. So tomorrow, where we are going to, see this, failure group and database, and we're going to discuss. Okay. So before that, today I'll go and I'll click on create and connect SQL test DB, right? So now this is my overview and all things we'll discuss later, but at this point of time I want to connect my database. How I'm going to connect it? As I told you guys, when I'm trying to connect, it is definitely going to definitely going to throw the error. That you have to keep in your mind. How we are going to resolve? There is a multiple ways we have. Okay, so today one approach we'll see, and then tomorrow also same will error will get. How we are going to resolve, we'll see that. Okay, so this is my local database instance one. Okay, so if you can see this one, this is my local server, and this is my IaaS one. This is not available currently, right? Just mm, mm, disconnect. Okay, all right. Disconnect this one. Let's say paste this uh, server and the password. See, I am connecting with this SQL Windows authentication. So then what about the rest of the things here? Okay, so if you can go and check here, okay, if you can go and check here, if it is integrated with the Active Directory, Active Directory, you can able to use and connect by using of the Windows authentication built-in one. Okay, if it is not, it is good to go and use this connection one by SQL authentication only. Okay, so we haven't configured AD and all. That is a huge thing. Okay, so the AD configuration things and they're going to do the AD team. If it is available during the deployment, it is going to ask you guys. Okay, so whether it is added into the Windows authentication or we can able to see. Okay, that we are going to discuss tomorrow as well. But the plain thing is we are going to connecting now the SQL authentication. Let's see the connection with okay, so Visual Studio if you are availability. So connection string, show the multiple connection string here. Okay, so what it is going to show you guys, okay, so we would have to share this one to the application team. If they are using the .NET application team, if they are asking to the connection string, you have to go and give this one, uh, and share this one including the database name and all. This person, this ID only can able to connect it, or else JDBC connection is there, you have to copy and paste, and ODBC connection is there, we are going to copy this one and they can able to connect application. Okay, so that you have to keep in your mind. Now I cancel this one, just click on this database. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, see here there is no elastic pool. Okay, so we deployed in East US. Let me go and try to connect. Okay, so it should not connecting because there is a security credentials is required. See, see, it is asking the again subscription firewall ID. Okay, so this is my public IP. Okay, so let's say whether it's a public IP or not, we can go and click here. So my public IP, you can able to find who has assigned this public IP. Microsoft is going to finding. based upon public IP, your system public IP, my public IP. Okay, my public IP address. If you can see this 106.72.138, see here, who is us going to assign? I am trying to connecting without any AD integration and all my local system. I could able to work and perform anything. Okay, so this is what it is going to ask you guys. And if you can see this, in a portal end, what exactly it is going to do. Okay, so at this point of time, if I am going to click, it is going to ask you. Okay, the ask you the your subscription and user ID password here. Okay, see here, sign your Microsoft Azure. Okay, so your client IP address does not have access in the server. Sign into the Azure account and create a new firewall rules and enable to access. Let me do that one first of all. Okay, how I am going to do that? Okay, so let's move for in a portal end and click on this server end. See here, we have three options and fourth one is set firewall. Let's see, this is the one thing we could able to explore more options here. If you have, let's say, 154 to 154 300, you can able to assign here. Okay, that is the one option. The other option is, if you have the virtual network, existing virtual network VNet, if it is already available, if you are creating a VNet, you can able to take this one. Okay, so I'll go and I'll take the subscription, and the subnet is not available, and suffix you can able to create. Right, how we are going to create the VNet, you guys is familiar. We discussed, no, 2 to 3 classes on that one. Okay, so or else you can directly create now VNet as well. So I don't want to go and create the VNet at this point of time. What I'm going to do, okay, so I'll go and I'll take my IPs here. So or else starting up, let's say your client support is, you guys is going to only 5 members, so that uh, 1 to 5 IPs you can able to update and say, so only that particular people is only going to connect here. Okay, let me add this IP. This is my public IP, right? So I don't want to go and provide my subscription and password to everybody, right? So let's say I have taken some subscription. You are a L1 and L2 person. I want to go to share with you this user ID password. Instead of that, I'll go and I'll ask with him, provide your public IP so that I can able to act, right? Let me do that part actually. So this is my public IP. So let's say this is my, yeah, this is Kishore system. Okay, even if you guys is having the public IP, give me, I'll add, and you can able try to connect if you have the management systems. Okay, space it here. Anybody is having his public IP, share me. I'll go and I'll add it. Okay, okay, let me you guys. So this is my public IP. I'll go and I'll add here. Okay, save. Okay. Now we can see. Okay, so this is my IPs is going to add, and then I'll make it as cancel, and then try to log and connect here. So it is directly it's going to connect. Just before it is going to ask you the user ID password. Now it is not asking anything, right? So it is, see, we provided user ID password. That is fair enough. In addition, that additional security point is, it is asking you the it is asking you the you know again subscription details. Let's say here is my database test SQL DB. The most important factor is in a PaaS instance, there is no database, sorry, there is no SQL agent here. That you have to keep in mind. And there is no model, MS TempDB, only the master database is available under the system database. That you have to keep in your mind. In the interview point of, they are going to ask in the PaaS instance, what is the difference in IaaS instance? It would be there is no other TempDB connect this. Everything is going to maintain, manage, and Microsoft. That's what it is. And TestDB, what we see, though it is adventure work database, but the database is named TestDB, but we have adventure database. Whatever the tables is available, that is going to we can able to find, we can able to back up and restore. Just let's go and click on tables. How many tables is there? See, these are the tables which is currently available. Okay, just a new query window, and here is my tables. We can able to query. Okay, can able to query. So this is my uh, execute here. So it is going to provide a total how many rows, how much time. So as same as an on-premises one. Okay. Now let me check it out here. So I'll go and I'll remove these things. Okay, I can able to remove this one. Okay, if you guys is having your IPs, please chart me so that I can able to add if I can able to add. Now I'm just going to delete this one. I'm going to save this one. What it is going to happen now, let me disconnect and try to connect now. Okay, so I could not able to connect because of this access issue. Okay, just refresh and try to connect now. Again it is going to ask you this user ID password. Let me try to connect now. Okay, so I'll also go and close this one. Okay, okay, no problem. Let it be. Okay, so it is not responding. Yeah. Now I'll try to connect. Okay, it is not going to accepting, buddy. So let me show you guys again the firewall issues. Okay. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to add anything. Again, it is going to be. So this is, I need to provide my subscription ID here. Okay. So that this IP is directly going to add into the firewall portal end. Okay, you no need to add manual in this one. Okay, so in a real time enterprise level, the subscription ID is not going to share across the team. Okay, so those who are in SMEs and L3 people, they are going to share. Okay, not for all the folks. See here, so to connect this one, okay, it is asking me the subscription details here. Okay, let me put my subscription details here. So here is a subscription. So you need to provide your subscription account details and password. So sign in. So this is what the typical access process. Okay, so now we haven't did any kind of public IPs to the portal end, right? But this IPs is automatically going to add into the portal end. That's we can able to expect. It is going to adding now. So let's see. Just before I deleted that public IPs in a portal end, set firewall, and if you can go and see this, IPs is going to automatically adding over here. So then after that, there's the database connection is just click OK. Okay, so it is going to add this IPs. Let me show you guys. So there is no IPs is going to add, right? Just I'm clicking here. So how beauty it is. It is completely going to log in. Okay, so it means if it is going to log in the sense the IPs is added into the portal end. So I'm going to refresh this one, be able to find that IPs is going to add it or not. Okay, so okay, my pass instance is connecting now, and uh, and other aspect is I would have to verify this public IP is going to add it or not in my Azure portal end. Okay, all right. See here, I connected here. Okay, so this is my logical SQL Server instance and the database instance. Now, if you can see the security aspect, okay, so only this SQL authentication user is available, right? So let me show you guys into the portal and whether it is added or not, we'll see that one. Okay, so just get set firewall and now we can see and verify the new IP is available. See here, this is my IP, public IP. I did not add it anyway. Okay, but thing is, once I'm providing my subscription ID and password, it is automatically going to add your, system ID. Okay, so if you can guys ping me your public IP, type your public IP, I could able to provide access to this, or else client IP. Okay, so what it will do, this is my VMware workstation public IP. Okay, so likewise also we are going to add this one. Okay. So this is typically it's going to happen to connect and create this this thing. But when you go and validate and verify this one, okay, so we have a couple of options over here. and even we do have a query editor. If you cannot able to connecting by using of the SSMS also, the same thing you could able to connect here. Let me show you guys. Okay, so what we have queried over here, the sales security, right? Let me show you. So what is how fast it is in a inside of a portal, and how much time it is going to take in see this one. Okay, so now this sales IT customer I'm going to take, and I'm going to query this one. Okay. I would have to take the big one. Okay, so let me take this. Okay, all right. So copy this one, and yeah, uh, just click on execute. See here, here is use query is not accepting. Let me generally what we are going to use sorts of baby, right? So it is not supporting. It's going to be there. See, use statement is not supported. Switch to a different databases. Okay, so let's click on drop down list and provide your test DB, and then click and execute this query. It is going to provide you this output. Okay, just click on it. Now how many rows it is? Super, 32 rows and 0.01 seconds. Okay, so let me see one more big one. Product model. Yeah. So it is 128 rows is available. 0.1 second it is executed, right? When you go for the portal end, let me see. Microsoft is given even portal itself we can able to query this thing. Okay, it is in preview state. Okay, it is going to public option next one month. Okay, so let me connect this database by using of this one. Okay, so there is in two ways: SQL authentication, Windows authentication, Active Directory. So if I'm going to try to connect in the Windows authentication, Active Directory authentication, okay, so can able to connect here. Okay, so where I don't have any Active Directory NT authority systems, I cannot able to log in here. But I could able to log in by using of six skill authentication. So what it is showing, cannot connect open servers this by login client IP address is not added. So what we have to do, just copy this one, go to set firewall. See, this is getting error, right? I could not able to connect to the portal end. Let me go to test skills SRV. And here is my set my firewall, right? This name is up to you. Okay, you can use any name. Okay, so I'm just giving IP is mandatory. Just save it. Okay, so now I could able to perform this one in a portal end itself. Whatever the things I am performing in a management studio, okay, so that I could able to do over here. Okay, that I could able to do over here. Okay, so here I'm doing right. Just copy this one, and try to execute the same query into the portal end. Just click on databases and go to testdb. And here is my okay, so query editor. Now just click OK. It is login with a single SQL authentication. Now see here, this is my query editor, and even whatever the tables is available into this end, it is available currently. It's loading. See here. Now what I could able to do, I could able to run the query, whatever I am did in a management studio, right? Just click on execute the run query. So see here, the query is running 1 second, and only within the 1 second, it is providing the output information as same as an on-prem system. So it is in a 2 seconds, whereas in on-premises, sorry, cloud end, it is going to take only 1 second. Okay, second time might be it is in milliseconds. Good, only 1 second it is going to perform. So it is how fast it is comparing to an on-premises one. It can and export data in JSON format also. Let's say if you wish to execute in JSON format, CSV file, and everything can able to perform here. Okay, so and even if you require a new query window is going to available. So this is what we exactly in a real-time environment past things we are going to configure and correct in a multiple ways, either in a on-premises management studio or in a portal and query editor. See, if you guys is familiar with SQL Server 2000 2005 or 2000 only, okay, in 90 98 2000 SQL Server server end version. Okay, so could able to find this query editor. Instead of the management studio, there would be a query editor. Okay, we call it as query editor. That Microsoft is launching now. Okay, so this is what real time in one of the past thing is going to happen. Okay, tomorrow again the same thing we are going to discuss. Why? Because comparing to IaaS passes, bit new and new navigation things is going to available, but it is very easy. Okay, so just we'll discuss tomorrow and the same thing, and we're going to discuss all these options, copy option, backup option, restore options. We do have a couple of options, right? That we are going to discuss these options, and this options will explore, and then we'll create one more pool database tomorrow. So, do you have any questions, guys? Satya, Sharath, Kishore.
Yeah, I'm good, Vimana.
Yeah. So it is a plain straightforward. There is no logic. There is no concept and all. Okay, just simple thing is simple thing is how to navigate where the exactly it is on blacking we have to find. So as I told you guys, the networking part and all, just as I mentioned, now this networking part is coming, right? So we are not going to do any uh, private kind of setup, right? So here we are going to accessing publicly. If you are already having the networking configuration, we can able to opt the sun, that option is available, that's it. Okay, uh, they are going to create bnet and a subnet, and a subnet multiple IPs is going to available. Just we are going to add that case the particular network people only going to create. That is what happening in the real time. Okay, so it is in a plain public things is going to happen over here to connect, right? So whereas that aspect, just we are going to take that VNet only. Okay, so under the VNet there would be multiple networking security group is there, NSG going to firewall things is inbound outbound ports they are going to connect it. So everything they're going to do this things. Okay, so that's what it is. And if you have any questions, let me know, or else we'll wind up today and tomorrow we'll see. Okay, so next month. Okay, any questions, guys? Okay, so if you guys has no questions, tomorrow we are going to wind up. And today class is going to wind up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye.